Okay, welcome to LeetCode Day 4. So in this video, we're going to do top K frequent elements, and here we're going to solve it in ON time. So there's different ways to solve this problem, but before we get into that, let's go into what the problem actually is. So given an integer array nums and an integer k, return the k most frequent elements within the array. The test cases are generated such that the answer is always unique. You may return the output in any order. So for example 1, nums is equal to 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, and k equals 2. So we're trying to find the k most frequent elements, uh, uh, the two most frequent elements within the array. And we can see that 3 happens the most here, and then 2 happens the second most. And then we return 2 and 3. So to go through our idea, there's a brute force way of doing this. You can sort of count the occurrences of each single value in a hash map, and then we can sort the hash map from greatest to least, and then we can go through each value in the hash map from greatest to least until we hit the amount of k that we need, until k is equal to 0. Another way of doing this is to use a heap, which we'll get down to later once we're going through our process of NeetCode 150. There's a heap section that goes and does the same exact thing that we're doing now, but in ON login time. So it's possible, but it's not the most optimized solution. So the most optimized solution is through bucket sorting. So we're given the array 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, the same sort of example we had before. The first way we can do this is do value equals index and occurrence equals value. What does that mean? So if we get a value equal to 1 and the occurrence is equal to 2, on index 1, we have that 1 has occurred twice. So it's not really indicative to this, but let's say for this example, we get, we're looking for 2. See, we see that 2 occurs twice, right? 2 times. So 2 is going to be your index because that's the exact value within the array, and then 2 is going to be what we store inside that. So 0, 1, 2, we know this happens twice, and we know there should be 1, and we know that 3 happens 3 times. 0, 1, 2, 3, they happen 3 times. So we can store it this way. So these values do work, but what if we are given such a value like this? Like it's super big. It can't, we can't even know how much it is. It could be as long as it wants to be. So it's hard to sort of store it within an array, which is why this way sort of doesn't work. But the second way of doing it is kind of flipping these two ideas. We're saying that occurrence is going to be the index and the value is going to be a subarray of values that occur this many times, right? So now if we're given the same problem where we're given the value is 1 and the occurrence is 2, the value is 1, whatever number that is, and occurrence is 2, we can go to, so this should actually be, this is wrong, this should be right here, sorry, 2 and whatever number, sorry about that. Yeah, so if we do this, we can go to the occurrence 2, and we can see that 1 happens this many times, and this number happens 2 times, and we can put it in their own subarray. And this way, we can loop from the end to the beginning of the array, the frequency array, and check which ones happen k times. And once we reach through this whole process, once we reach k number of times, once the length is that many values, we can then return the result array. So let's actually do this quickly with Python. So here we're going to first create a hashmap count. I like to section this off into different subproblems. So my first problem is going to be what we learned in the beginning in basically, I think, the first video, which is just counting the amount of time something occurs into a hash map. So we can do that just by doing for I in range len nums. So we're going through the whole array. We're going to hash map count the value and nums at I, and we're going to add 1 to whatever the current value is. So this is probably, yeah, so if it's 1 here, it'll be 1 equals to 1, 2 equals to 1, here's 2 equals to 2, and so on. That's how it works in a dictionary, right? And then 3 equals to 1, 3 equals to 2, 3 equals to 3, and that's how we'll have it stored. So our next sort of what thing that we want to do is sort of put it into a frequency array, basically how we listed it out over here. Right, like we want to use a second way. We want to make the occurrence equal to the index and the value equal to subarrays, but we need to sort of initialize that first. So we're going to make a frequency array, and then we're going to make an array, and then a subarray, and we're going to go and make that happen len nums plus 1 times. So basically, we know that a specific number cannot occur more than the length of the actual array, which makes sense because that's just impossible. So that way we can sort of move on. I feel like my indenting is off here. But yeah, so we have the frequency arrays. Now we're going to actually populate it. So we need a key value pair from the hash map. I'm gonna say it like this though. I'm gonna say, since we stored the value as a key, we're gonna say the val as the key, and then the occurrence in hash map count items, right? Because we stored the value in the keys position and the occurrence in the value position, right? So then we basically follow this algorithm. We want to append the occurrence as the index and the value as the subarray of values. So we're going to do for frequency at occurrence dot append val, right? So we're taking how many times it occurred and appending it to a subarray. So now all we have to do is go through a for loop. Something is definitely off with my indentation, but I'll fix that. So now we're going to go through a for loop, and we're going to the frequency array this time, and we're going to go frequency -1, 0, -1, basically saying that we're going to loop to the end of the array, and then for every j in range len frequency at I, we want to res.append frequency at I, j. He's taking that value and putting it into a res array, which we need to actually initialize here. Then we have to also check if len of res equals k. We then need to return res because we know we've reached it. We know we've reached the amount of values that needs to be in the result array. And yeah, and we don't have to return again at the end because we know this is going to always have a unique answer, as it says the answer is always unique here. So we know it's going to always work out. All right, so I got an error here, right? Because it said this is work. Everything was actually fine. It was just my indentation, so I had to go and fix that real quick. But yeah, so we can run it now. indentation is weird. I don't know what this is. Oh, it's right here. For I in range, expected indent. I think that's how it is. Yeah, I don't really like that this indentation is weird. You can see that this is not the best, but it's okay. This is what I do when I have these errors. I just keep going backwards and hopefully this is what works. Yeah, you just gotta sort of fix the indentation. But yeah, I think this should work. And this runs. So basically we ran bucket sort. We did do this in ON time. This would still be considered ON time because the for j in loop is a finite amount of time, so it would be ON plus ON. So this would still be ON overall. So I hope this made sense, and I hope everything was clear. I'm still learning how to explain, but I hope everything made sense, and see you for day 5. Thank you.